Stephen, a couple of new signings, strikers. Can you just tell us about the latest one, Keon and Tete, please?
Yeah, obviously we've been searching for strikers for a wee while now. With Jonah missing, I think it's really affected us in terms of having an outlet up front, in terms of people that will run behind, and both boys give us that, especially Jake. So as I said, it's more numbers as well than when we were looking for changes. I thought Jake made a really good impact when he came on Tuesday night. So that's what it is. It's options, it's numbers in the squad as well, and boys that have been playing. So they don't need 3 and 4 months to get up to speed. They've been playing. They've been regular in League One, and have scored goals. So that's something we rarely get, and it's obviously a real positive for us.
So Keon might appear. Is any a chance of playing tomorrow?
He's certainly in the squad, yeah. He's only had 1 day's training. This will be his 2nd day's training with us. So we'll have a look at him this morning, but certainly both boys will be in the squad, yeah.
Plenty of strikers now here, plenty of options.
Yeah, there needs to be. You know, it's arguably the most important area of the pitch. It's the thing that we found hardest to convert our chances. Even Tuesday night we had numerous chances that we didn't take. So you're hoping with that little bit more competition as well. Also, you know, to be fair to Mika, he's been playing constantly without a break. So we're playing with stitches in his head, staples in his head, and you know that has to be taken into account as well. So our freshness from the bench, you know, with Mika, really gives us, you know, more options, as I say, to choose from, and different systems that we can choose from instead of sticking with the same thing all the time.
I was just wondering with Oisin going back to Partick Thistle, if you were looking for another midfielder to come in maybe?
I'd love to, yeah. I'll probably have to create the finances myself. Not out of my own pocket, I mean, we wouldn't be getting anybody if it's out of my pocket. But obviously a little bit of wheeling and dealing to create the numbers to maybe get somebody else in. You would like to do that. Keanu and Mark are probably 3 to 4 weeks away minimum. So a really important period. So yeah, of course, I want to strengthen every area of the pitch. I'd like to get Alex Goggins back into the centre of defence again at some stage as well, but needs must at the minute, and we're on the lookout, of course.
Does that feel like it's realistic that you could get one more in before the end of the window? Would that be as much as it would be?
Yeah, it won't be any more than that, no. As I say, we'll have to generate that ourselves. We've brought 2 strikers in, so the board have backed that, which is great, and we need to find a way to either move people out, or, you know, people that aren't happy not playing football, then, you know, create that yourself. So.
And Jake said himself when he was sat there earlier that the competition for strikers is healthy. Was that part of the reason, as well as to complement with goals, but to also add competition in that area, bringing in these 2 in the last few weeks? Yeah,
people get lax, obviously. When we had the competition earlier on in the season, you know, Jonah was coming off the bench, or Mika was coming off the bench, and, you know, when you know you're starting, you know you don't have that kind of competition. So also it limits what changes we can make system wise, and, you know, we constantly went from 3-4-3 to 3-5-2 last year, and vice versa. But we've sort of been very rigid on what we've been able to do, and it gives everybody a little lift. As I say, we reset ourselves last week in terms of before the cup. We've managed to get through a round in the cup, and we've managed to gain a point from an away game, which was obviously necessary to do, and we're going with a positive attitude now. You've got to put everything that's happened in the last 4 weeks. You don't become a bad team in 4 weeks. According to some people you do, but we know we haven't, and we know that we will play better than what we have done. We know that we're getting bodies in, and there'll be a freshness to that, and that sparks everybody, sparks the staff, it sparks the players, and we're looking forward to these final 11 games, I believe, before the split.
What changed in the last couple of games, Stevie, from the previous 4?
Well, to be fair, sometimes you get caught in injuries. You know, you can't get away from the injuries. You know, against Falkirk, I think John must have been rubbing his hands when he looked at. We didn't have, after 20 minutes, we didn't have a midfielder that had started for us all season. So it was. It's a completely different team. It takes the energy out of the team as well. Boys that haven't played, getting used to it, taking Jonah out of the front line as well. You know, Golgage was missing at that stage as well. So, you know, that has massively affected us. If you take that out of any team, you lose your sort of rhythm. And we've tried to fix that. We tried to get back into that. Players have sort of filled in positions and played out of position a little bit, you know, where they have been. But we've got more bodies in now. We feel that we didn't play particularly well on Tuesday night. There were spells, 10-minute spells at the other side of the half where we really moved the ball well and created a lot of chances. But we need to do that more consistently with more options and more energy, which we will do.
In terms of your squad, is there any other Any injuries you picked up for the last game, or anybody closer to coming back?
No new ones. No new injuries as far as I believe. On the way back, obviously we've got the three boys that are out, who will still be at least a month away anyway.
I just wonder what kind of challenge you expect from Jim's side this weekend.
Oh, always a challenge. Jim's, as I say, I think he's signed particularly well. His recruitment's been very good, and it's a difficult place to go to, difficult team to play against. They play a back three, big side, but mix it up a little bit as well. They've got good footballers in the middle of the pitch. They've got real threats in the forward areas with Sapsford, Waters. So they have got options. Dundee United are a big club, and they'll be hoping to get into the top six. And we have to go there and get a result. We've done that in the past, and as I say, there's a positivity around the place now, which maybe for a couple of weeks everyone was feeling a little bit sorry for themselves with the injuries and the run of form, and you get that. So there has to be a freshness, there has to be changes. We've done that with new personnel. We'll do that with changes to the starting lineup. Players that have trained particularly well in the last 2 or 3 weeks will get opportunities. And sometimes when you put that freshness in, as opposed to carrying the baggage of maybe 3 or 4 games where you haven't played too well, it freshens and sparks everybody and gets you reset again.
Just wondering, did your heart sink when you saw Toyosi signing for Aberdeen?
I tried to get him back here.
Did you?
Unfortunately, we didn't have the funds to do that. But yeah, listen, we wish Toyosi all the best. He's a super boy, great kid. But it wasn't for the want of trying anyway.